What it do, family, what it do, man. We in this deal, man. Just waiting for a couple of more people to come on by. I'm gonna go ahead and play one of these tracks. We get people to come on in. Y'all know what it is. Come on in. Y'all know what it do, man.
Hey, moving down
Let's get loud midnight.
Yeah.
True for one ENT. Hey, I live life on the upper hand. Come from the gutter, the other land. Had to come up with another plan. Now when they listen, they understand. Invested in me a couple $100,000. Can't keep paying for what I'm saying. Then Uncle Sam with the underhand. Why ducking these niggas trying to run the scam? These folk gonna be crazy. Yeah, I come from the 80s. That history made me. I'ma keep stepping direction till history pass. Till history pay me. Cut me the check cause they know he the best in the class. No sense of him waiting. Yeah, can't inch in his stone and don't step in the grass. But that's who hating. I live life on the upper hand. Come from the gutter, the other land. Had to come up with another plan. Now when they listen, they understand. Invested in me a couple $100,000. Can't keep paying for what I'm saying. Then Uncle Sam with the underhand. Why dumping these niggas trying to run a scam? I want my cake with the icing on it. Back to the wall with the writings on it. I'ma shoot my shot like my life is on it. Can't help but to shine. The light is on me, yeah. I'm a little brighter, homie. You know, fuck won't like me, homie. Jumped off of this bitch and I'm right up on them. Dropping this shit. Microphone them. We talking my hits? Yeah, I own them. A couple $100 million? Yeah, I loan them. I'm rocking this bitch for the dead homies. Know too much, the feds on me. I know my rights don't tread on me. See a nigga got a little bread on me. Now they wanna try to put the lid on me. I want they plate with their head on me. I live life on the upper hand. Come from the gutter, the other land. Had to come up with another plan. Now when they listen, they understand. Invested in me a couple $100,000. Can't keep paying for what I'm saying. Then Uncle Sam with the underhand. Why ducking these niggas trying to run the scam? These
Waiting on
gonna
a
be
couple
crazy.
more folks to
Yeah, I
come
come
on
from the
in, y'all.
80s.
Come on
The
in.
history made me. I'ma keep stepping direction till history pass. Till history pay me. Cut me the check cause they know he the best in the class. No sense of him waiting. Yeah, can't inch in his stone and don't step in the grass. But that's who hating. I live life on the upper hand. Come from the gutter, the other land. Had to come up with another plan. Now when they listen, they understand. Invested in me a couple $100,000. Can't keep paying for what I'm saying. Then Uncle Sam with the underhand. Why ducking these niggas trying to run a scam? Hold up for what they listen slow. Unkin' this hoe with the bigger flow. If I'm on the beat, you know it blow. Cause I'm walking that beat like a Figaro. Then flip me a gram into a O. I done got me a zap, I'ma see a bow. That's why I rock every hole in the wall spot like I rock that bigger show. Increase my stock, they see it. This shit too hot, they need it. When they hit the block, I bleed it. I guess it's just my season. Look, workers' hands are teasing. My best work done in evening. I need that spot, no pleading. Yeah, y'all the Aku leading.
Yes, sir. Just waiting on everybody to get in. I hope y'all in now. We're about to get this party started. Yes, sir. Roll up if you ain't already rolled, you want up. Roll up and meet me on up in the room. We're about to get this thing started, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. What's going on with it? What it do, man? What it do, man? Y'all know what's up, man. It's True for One ENT. Back with another. We talking. We rapping. Truth talking. Y'all know what it is, man. Like I said, if y'all ain't rolled y'all up one, y'all know what time it is, man. It's kickback session. Sit on back, see what new we finna get into today. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, it's a little subject, man, that I've been I've been diving and dabbing in this for some years, man. It's been some years. You know what I mean? And it's just coming to light, that through all these financial crises and economy kind of unstable, especially with jobs and everything. We just really want to get to like the bottom line of what's been going on. And a guest that I got today, well, not a guest, interview that we gonna watch to get today. Excuse me. The interview that we gonna watch today is from a whistleblower, World Bank whistleblower, uh, Karen Hughes, Dr. Karen Hughes. Um, she was relieved of her duties at the World Bank in 2007, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, she was there from '98, and she was counsel. She was general counsel for the World Bank. Um, she had some beefs with former Attorney General Eric Holder. He went and tried to sue her, tried to get her banned, and she in the World Bank, so she over France, and Switzerland and Italy. She doing business over across seas. But you know, since the financial system is backed by you know United States money supply, um, a lot of it is gonna come right back full spin from the things that she's gonna be talking to us about today. Um, I just really want y'all to take heed. Like I say, get you some roll up, man, and you know, we gonna just open this little rabbit top. We ain't gonna go too much down the rabbit hole. You get what I'm saying? We gonna open up this rabbit top, and the thing about it is if you want some knowledge and some information, man, you got to go seek it. You know, all praises to the Most High and His only begotten Son. That's what we ask for: wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Let me straighten this out. Some do this live on the fly, edit it, script it. So funny look to have my picture that mother. Yeah, broadcasting that much anyway. We're gonna leave it right there. We can do that. I just cover that. So yeah, man. Look, Karen Hughes, like I say, whistleblower, ex World Bank General Counsel lawyer, and she's gonna break down to us real fine what's really going on behind these closed doors and the things that we need to do to kind of prepare. She's gonna give some good pointers. We're gonna hear from a second witness or two that goes off into, you know, some of those very same things. Um, then we're gonna break down how the money come about. How they make money out of thin air. So today gonna be a nice one. It's gonna be packed. I'm not gonna do too much in no commentary, uh, because it's all self-explanatory. You know, if it get too juicy, I'll step in and throw in my 2 cents. But like I say, man, go and roll up, light your spliff. We finna go ahead and get to it. You know what I mean? Without further ado, we gonna go ahead and get on up on this screen, and we gonna see what's going on.
Welcome back to WHDT World News. I'm Gary Franchi, and joining me now is whistleblower from the World Bank, Karen Hudes. We're going to bring you the conclusion of yesterday's interview. Karen, welcome back.
Thanks for having me, Gary.
Karen, when we concluded yesterday's interview, we were discussing, or you had brought up the new constitution that was instated in the United States. So is the constitution that we know today in effect, or is there a different constitution that you claim?
Unfortunately, we are being snookered by the Congress because every 2 years they reintroduce a state of martial law. And we are not under our first constitution. We are under this second secret constitution. What that constitution provides is that our tax dollars are going to pay interest to the Federal Reserve. They're not paying for any of the services that we need in our country. Instead, where are we getting the money? We're getting it from the poppy fields in Afghanistan and the drug trade. That's how we're financing our country. This is a travesty.
Now, you mentioned that this secret constitution allows for the interest to be paid to the Federal Reserve. But isn't that the Federal Reserve Act that we know that was established in 1913 when it was passed on Christmas Eve?
First off, let's hit this. Let's talk about an act being passed on Christmas Eve. As far as what I know and I understand, the house is always on Christmas vacation. That's the time that it's closed. So that was an emergency meeting passing act that probably itself was illegal on the face value. But we're gonna keep going. That's 1913.
Where does that law fall into place?
You'll remember that President Lincoln was assassinated by a Jesuit.
Mm-hmm.
That was in order to prevent the greenback dollars that Lincoln had issued directly by the Treasury Department. And so what happened was the bank of that day was then able to continue to earn interest on the currency of the United States. That was why he was assassinated. And the reason why we had that second constitution enacted in 1871 is that is when the Revolutionary War debts fell due. As a matter of fact, one day I opened my mail and somebody mailed me the financing statement for those debts that, together with the unpaid interest on the debts, had accrued to the trillions of dollars.
Now, the concept of a secret constitution, some people might cry foul there. I don't believe a word you're saying because I've never heard of such a thing. How can those claims be substantiated?
Two ways. The first is that I will show you the minutes of the meeting of the patriots who met and looked at the State House records in Carolina when that secret constitution was enacted. And I can show you the financing statements for the Revolutionary War debt. That was the reason we got that second secret constitution.
So is that second secret constitution, who is it in favor of? Is it in favor of the people or the corporate United States?
It's in favor of the banks.
You finna break them down real good. This is where I need y'all to pay close attention because this is where the game get murky. Like she said, it's in favor of the banks. And the reason why they call it a secret constitution is because of an act that was passed in 1871 that allowed things that's unconstitutional to happen. So let her cook.
It's certainly not in favor of the people. What happens when you have a child is your child is given a Social Security number. They estimate how many taxes your child is going to pay over his or her lifetime. And they take that birth certificate and they issue it on the capital markets and they earn money on it.
Now, if this don't sound like what a lot of what they call sovereign citizen and you know, free men on the land, things that's real for real that's going on. Here it is, a world banker, lawyer, counsel, general counsel, whistleblower, okay, that's coming out telling us that this is exactly what's going on. That we are a rare commodity from the Birth Certificate Act. Okay, you go back and do some studies. If you're getting a little value from this, give me a thumbs up, a like, subscribe, and hit the bell button. Listen, anything that can get the algorithm going to where it can get out to more people and more people. Mind you, this video is 11, 12 years old, but it still stands today. This is the thing about how you understand when you know the truth or when you found that piece of truth out of, because it's not needing anything to back it up. These things that's being discussed here don't need to be backed up. Let her cook.
Okay, so what you're saying is that the birth certificate itself creates a monetary value on the books
Yes.
with the Federal Reserve?
Yes.
I'm saying something much worse, actually.
Much worse.
What I'm saying is that when every citizen goes into the court system, they are not seen there as themselves a U.S. citizen.
Now, this goes back to the Black's Laws Dictionary on person and all this. She's breaking it down from general counsel. So for her to jump right into the lawyer part, what I'm saying is even worse. When you go into the courtroom, you're acting, she gonna break it down, you're acting as the debtor instead of the creditor. You acting as the legal fiction, the one that's in debt, instead of doing what you do in the trust and through paperwork to understand and to put in the record that you are the administrator of that trust, that name, that corporate fiction that they created. So she gonna break it down, let her cook.
They're seen as the person who had their birth certificate pledged. You're there as a debtor. You're not there as a citizen.
So because of the national debt, are you saying that Americans are they're just born into debt and there's nothing that they can really do about it? They're debtors in the system.
We have been converted from human beings that are citizens of the Republic of the United States into chattel. Chattel, that is a legal term for something which is property. We are now considered to be property of the Federal Reserve. We're not considered to be human beings and citizens of the United States.
Yeah, I get that. Look,
That's a very strong.
hurt his feelings. Hurt his feelings. He said, that's a very strong statement. He feel offended. Why wouldn't you? You know, because I believe you doing this in the United States. You're doing this interview in the United States. You see what I'm saying? So you should feel some type of way. Anybody who done had court cases and any dealings, excuse me. That's where they come with the all uppercase letters when they mailing you the bill. You know, it's procedures and things that you're supposed to do to offset the debt, given that in 1933 they took the gold. Like, it's a lot of things that come with this, but all it does is it goes back to play that these guys who halfway got it and got somewhat of it and got a little bit of it, like, they get it from somewhere. It's not all bullshit just because they don't know the exact strategy to end up in the end zone. And for that, that's why I don't feel that they should be selling courses, selling information, doing all these things for a monetary value on some game when this knowledge is so unlimited that, you know, in order for you to really sit down and say that you're going to charge somebody for it, bro, you have to put yourself in a position to where, you know, man, the government down there want to come knock your head off just off the strength of the real and of chosen few people that you done show how to do it. Like, you, it's you know, you playing with fire when you get to selling information that's really readily available. You know what I mean? Like, let's go back to the scripture. What you're doing is you giving a man a fish. You selling information and you give him the fish instead of teaching him how to fish. You see what I'm saying? You'll sell him a fish. He don't know how to go out and fish, and that's cool for your pockets. But at the end game of it, don't end up being a fool with riches off of this information and this knowledge. You give it free like we doing and let them come up with their own thing. Don't be a gatekeeper. Let her cook, though.
Strong statement. How do we reverse that? If that is in fact the true statement, how do we reverse that?
The first thing we do is we recognize it. We understand it. And then the second thing we do is we have that constitutional convention, which is our right under our first constitution and we repeal that banker's constitution. We repeal it, we get rid of it, we do not want it, we do not need it, and we issue our treasury dollars backed by the gold out of the collateral account that has been offered to us.
Some people are very concerned about Article 5 convention, wherein you may have powers, money powers, that could inject themselves into the into that convention process where the Constitution is rewritten. A lot of people are very concerned that some of the very basic rights that are instilled and enshrined in the Bill of Rights would then be evaporated. Maybe the freedom of the press would be changed to only specific sanctioned outlets can speak freely, or even the Second Amendment would have to be rewritten to only allow certain people to carry firearms to protect others. So there's a lot of people who do have valid concerns with an Article 5 convention. Do you share those concerns?
I say that that is a very good proof to me of just how corrupted our media is. Because if we had a true media that was representing the interests of the citizens, they would know that that is not a concern whatsoever. Because what happens out of that convention is simply recommendations, which have to be voted up or down by 3/4 of the state legislatures.
Do you think the money powers would have enough lobbying capacity to lobby for those 3/4 of the states? I mean, if you think back to when the 16th Amendment was passed, even though it was passed illegally and it wasn't properly ratified by 3/4 of the states, it still became an amendment, and we now are under an income tax system. So if you think about 3/4 of the states ratifying an Article 5 convention, do you believe that the money...
Did you hear what he said? He said that amendment wasn't even properly established, voted on, or ratified, and yet and still we are up under income tax. But if you notice, if you know, and again, if you get some content and value out of this, please drop a like, subscribe, notification bell button, man. This algorithm gotta go across. We gotta get this type of talk and money understanding, financial literacy in our tone, the way we can understand it. So the what he was saying, hold on,
powers could have influence in that process?
I would simply ask your viewers.
So what he's saying is that in essence that the people who got the money can go ahead and make rules and differences to the Constitution if they have an Article 5 Constitution. When, like she said, it would just be suggestions. But the thing about it is that we're not having an Article 5 Constitution Convention to change anything in the Constitution. We're having an Article 5 Constitutional Convention to pull away and make plain the original Constitution. To pull away things that were added on through delegations and through laws that does not organically bind to the original Constitution that was set forth. That's the reason of the convention, is to check back up on the original Constitution and enforce it in a way to where when the forefathers said what they said and how they said, we're magnifying that right now. This is the prime time of why the Constitution is so important. They wrote this out for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years to come because they knew the type of republic they was going to open up was going to lead to this type of monstrosity, this type of, pitching and catching with different politicians and bills and favors and things like that. So, that's why the Constitution was created. Over time, over 200-300 years, 400 years, whatever you want to give it a call, then the things that were added to it, the little hers and theirs, and that kind of diluted certain things and made things like kind of blurry. That's what the convention is for, to clear every blurred line up. Let her cook.
To take a good look at whether we have a second secret constitution, how we got that constitution, and whether we in the United States have the wherewithal to throw off those shackles. And if we don't, we deserve them.
So where is the second constitution? Where is it? Where do they keep it? What does it say?
There it go.
The second constitution consists of the fact that we are paying interest on our debt when we could simply have clean treasury dollars backed by gold.
Is it a constitution in the same sense that we understand our constitution as today? Now, when I think of the constitution, I think of old parchment and handwritten script, and I think of the founding fathers and writing this document out. So when I think of a second constitution, is it fair to say that is this another document that written in the same manner, or
look at her? Let her cook. Look how she looking at her.
Help me visualize what this document.
Look how she looking at him.
What this document says.
What it is it's the Act of 1871,
Uh-oh.
where Maryland and Virginia created this square mile of the District of Columbia,
DC,
and then they incorporated the United States as a company. And they made the President of the United States the Chief Executive Officer. And they made the representatives of Congress managers. And so when people come to Congress, they're taught very quickly that their constituents are not what it's all about. What it's all about is for them to get on the dole of the federal government, which is there to enslave the people who live in the United States. That's what that is.
So is it fair to call it a constitution then, or is it more or less when Maryland and Virginia created Washington D.C. as its own district of Columbia as we know it today?
Well, it's more than that, because the federal courts, the judges, are not sitting there in courts of equity. They're secretly treating us as if we are property of the United States. When we come in there, we are not there in a court of equity. So yes, it is a different arrangement with our government.
This secret constitution, is it really more of a corporate document?
What it means is that when you go to court to protect your rights, you don't even get to first base, because that judge is not sitting in what you call a court of equity. They're not looking at you as if you're a citizen of the United States. They're handling you as if you're a person who's...
Listen, all my free men on the land, all my men and women who understand this procedure and know this process to be true, whether you had victory or not, okay? The thought, the heart, the gall that it takes to think this through, to even want to go about it, I commend you. First off, let me give you that. Second off, here's your second witness. Here's to let you know that all that you've been studying, all that you've been learning is not bullshit. It's not a waste of time. It's not a figment of your imagination. You got Karen Hudes, Dr. Karen Hudes, former World Bank lawyer, telling you flat out that when you go to court, they're looking at you as exactly what you and us will want to go and defend ourselves against. We are not the debtors. We are not chattel property. We are not that. We did not sign the contract to be up under any of that. She giving you the right coup up right now, letting us know. Let her cook.
Who's just servicing the debt of the United States. You're there as a thing.
So if you're just a thing in a courtroom that's servicing debt, I mean, what does that make every American citizen?
A thing in a courtroom that
Takes away
serves
all of our
debt.
rights.
So Americans don't have any rights.
Americans need to take back their rights because our founding fathers were very clear about that. We were in a country that had consent of the governed. We were in a country that could bear arms, had the right to bear arms. They understood that we were a liberty-loving
I'll
people.
go back a little
And
bit because I
actually,
talked
because
over.
that judge is not sitting in what you call a court of equity.
American citizen.
It takes away all of our rights.
So Americans don't have any rights.
Americans need to take back their rights because our founding fathers were very clear about that. We were in a country that had consent of the governed. We were in a country that could bear arms, had the right to bear arms. They understood that we were a liberty-loving people. And actually, the fate of the world is riding on whether we have remained that. And I think we have.
So what do you see as the future of this nation? I know that yesterday we spoke about
That is 14 years ago,
that
yeah.
you're very optimistic
12, 14
about
years
the,
ago.
the global outlook. And there are other individuals who believe that we're on the precipice of a global economic collapse. Given this Constitution that you speak of and the state of the rights of Americans, where do we go from here?
Where we go from here is that we just take a deep breath and thank ourselves for our neighbors and our friends and our country and our founding fathers that gave us the first Constitution, which is protecting not only our rights, but the rights of every human being on this earth. And all that we have to do is say yes to the dollar that John F. Kennedy printed for us and tell the bankers that they're not entitled to keep it from us. It's our birthright. And the gold that belongs to us because Wolfgang Struck has allocated it to us. And when we say yes to that, it's really not that hard to say yes, it seems to me. What we're doing is we're freeing that gold also for the rest of humanity, so all the other countries of the world get their share of the assets. And we just rebuild. And what that would look like is up to us. It's going to be our world to take back and to care for each other.
Some people might disagree with you and say that the Constitution has failed us, that the Constitution, that the Founding Fathers has failed us because we are seeing a Congress pass laws that are contrary to it with no with no repercussion. We see a commander-in-chief enforcing laws that are contrary to the very document they take an oath to. So has the Constitution, the original Constitution that the founders created, has it failed the American people in that regard?
I think,
or has it, or is it just a failure of humanity or failure of leadership? What do you think?
Let me explain where we are. I think when people understand where we are, they'll see that we only have ourselves to thank for whatever the outcome is going to be, because we are actually at a fork in the road. And I'm working together with whistleblowers, first of all, from the World Bank. That's who I started out working with. And then I started working with anybody as my story and the rest of the whistleblower story got out. And once Elaine Colville, who's in Scotland, she's a World Bank whistleblower, the two of us got our statement up on the UK Parliament website. What was our statement? The first statement I got up was that the capital markets are absolutely, they're just completely controlled by this conglomerate that has 40% of the assets and 60% of the earnings of all the companies that are traded. And the Securities and Exchange Commission
BlackRock,
is not enforcing insider trading laws, and the Securities and Exchange Commission was not requiring KPMG to do an honest audit of
That
the
was
World
back
Bank
then.
financial
That was
statements
that
because
was
I bought a
back
World
11
Bank
years
bond,
ago.
which meant that I was a bondholder and the World Bank was not immune. So
My fault. Let me press pause. There. I run it back a couple of bit, but she talking about BlackRock. I'm talking about Larry Finn or whatever his name is. But yeah, she talking about them. And I had another video to where it was a dude who had came into like it was some type of appropriation hearing. I don't know if it was Congress. I know it wasn't Senate because the floor didn't look big. It just looked like a little, like they was in the side of a floor. So it probably was just like a small Congress dude. But dude came in there and broke some shit down, bro, to where, and this was before Trump took office. This nigga broke down every health, human, every worker that was in a high government position, director of the all the way down to end. BlackRock, like, bro, all of them are these Ashkenazi, they Jewish. You feel me? And it's not surprising. Excuse me, y'all. Excuse me for that. The one out. It's not surprising because they've been having this plan from the beginning of time. You know what I'm saying? Having this plan from the beginning of time. Like I say, I'm gonna let her cook, man. But that 40% of the world's and 60% of the BlackRock.
this conglomerate that has
conglomerate?
40% of the assets and 60% of the earnings of all the companies that are traded.
All
And the
of 'em.
Securities and Exchange Commission is not enforcing insider trading laws. And the Securities and Exchange Commission was not requiring KPMG to do an honest audit of the World Bank financial statements because I bought a World Bank bond, which meant that I was a bondholder and the World Bank was not immune.
Look at that.
So I went to the Serious Fraud Office in the
Since
United
she
Kingdom.
bought a bond.
And I told the Serious Fraud Office that it was their responsibility since the UK was also helping to finance the World Bank, and also because UK citizens owned World Bank bonds. It was their responsibility to end this corruption that I was
Right.
reporting. So the Serious Fraud Office called up the Securities and Exchange Commission. That
What
was
happened?
in 2010. The SEC couldn't be bothered. The same people at the SEC that brought us Bernie
happened?
Madoff wouldn't answer the Serious Fraud Office.
Okay.
So then, when the UK Parliament asked a question about supervision of the UK money in the World Bank, I answered that question. I said there was no supervision, that the UK taxpayer money was just going to the dogs at the World Bank.
Well, look at
And
that.
then there was a second question, which was on privatization. They wanted to know in the UK Parliament whether the functions of the UK public ought to be privatized. And I said, absolutely not, because the entity that was supposed to be supervising the World Bank on behalf of the UK had been privatized, and they were doing a lousy job. And then the third question was, how is the UK Parliament and the rest of the UK government doing on processing complaints? And I said, you're doing a lousy job. I've been complaining to the Parliament for years, and you're just sitting on your hands. And Elaine Colville gave a much more blunt criticism because she had been going to the Prime Minister and the Ombudsman, and she raked them over the coals. You can see our statements up on the Parliament.
So then, back to the question: Does that mean that you see a failure in the American leadership to uphold the values of the Constitution, or because there are people out there that say, we have this great document and it stands for so much and it's brought us so far, but we have people who are in power who disregard it and simply pay it lip service. So, where do you stand on that on that position?
Well, I have been going to the U.S. Congress and writing to them and talking to them, and I've been talking, for example, to General Martin Dempsey on December 2nd when he had a town hall meeting. I've been discussing the problem one-on-one when the Secretary of Defense, Chuck Hagel, was a senator. I spoke to him about this power transition model that we were discussing, which is very accurate, which said that we were at a fork in the road and that if we would lose our allies, we would have a currency war. And they know very well how that model works because they've been working on it in the Department of Defense and how very accurate it is. So what can I say? They are completely aware of the fact that we are at the fork in the road. And why I think we're going to take the high road is because they know enough citizens are also aware of this model. And they're demanding of their government that we take the high road. They're not letting them off the hook. They're writing their Congress people. And for example, there was a meeting, I've been at this business of whistleblowing, and I've been getting public coverage now for quite some time, although not with the mainstream media. You won't find the first interview on the mainstream media. So going back to one of your questions about RTTV, when RTTV did have me on, this is not a little story. Where did you find this in the mainstream media? So no, we're not. I guess the answer is you get the government you deserve. There's something called the National Taxpayer Union. They have a blog up on me. I've had a number of people writing their Congress people, and I was going to start talking about the county executives because there was a meeting of county executives in July. And what happened was one of the people that just writes to me based on some of the news coverage that I'm getting with HDTV and also with the stories on the alternative media. So they contacted me and they said, Karen, you can't just keep going to the governors. You have got to go to something else because the governors are not responding. So that's when I started writing to an organization of county executives. And they had a meeting in July and they elected Ike Leggett, who is the county executive of Montgomery County, Maryland, which is the county that I live in. And so I have been keeping Ike Leggett informed. I've been asking all of the people that contact me to contact their county executives as well. So what I would say is that we have a very intricate but powerful system in our republic that does have all of the bells and whistles necessary. And we will be able to take back our republic. I'm very optimistic that the machinery will work. But I'm also not underestimating the amount of the cleanup job because I've been, as a lawyer, I've been going to the American Bar Association. I would have to say that the legal profession is seriously, seriously broken, that the bar associations should not be responsible for licensing attorneys because they have not been responsive. I say that system is totally broken.
Karen, we're just about out of time, and I want to give you another opportunity to give your final thoughts to the American people on the state of America and the state of the world and the practical things that the individuals can do to make change happen.
That's why I waited to this now.
Well, the very first thing I would say is go out and buy silver and gold coins because we still have Federal Reserve notes and those pieces of paper are toilet paper. That is the very first thing that you should do because you do not want your family not to have currency. And what you currently have is not worth anything. That's why the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, are no longer paying for their international trade in dollars. Governments are no longer holding the Federal Reserve notes. We need to be you need to do your homework as citizens and find out what it means when you have Federal Reserve notes. They're valueless and they are unconstitutional, and we need to get that outfit out of here. That's the very first thing. And then the second thing is that we have to all work together to clean up the mess. And I don't think it's going to be that hard, actually, to get our republic back.
That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Welcome back to WHDT World News. I'm Gary Franchi, and joining.
Listen to me, man. I know we do this on the fly. Y'all know this ain't no editing. Want to know the truth. Y'all heard her, man. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all heard her. Y'all heard her real clear. It's the type of truth and the type of value that we want to give out, man. We want to let people know and let them understand that, you know, when you come to this thing and you look down at us and you see us and you get this truth, man. You know what I mean? I hope I ain't do too much. In the meantime, it was a 20-minute video. Ended up being 45 and some change now from what I'm looking at. But I'm going to give y'all the last little part, and then we going to end it on that. You know what I mean? I'm going to give y'all the last little something, last little 3 minutes or something. You know what I'm saying? You see in the background, you know, we you know, she's speaking that truth, man. I'm talking about she said get silver and gold coins, man. You know what I'm talking about? If you want to go watch the whole interview, it was Enlightened Neanderthal, who I got it from. All you got to do for real is type in Karen Hudes, World Banker whistleblower, and you're going to find out everything you need to know about her. You know what I mean? Like I say, I believe she's passed away. I don't know. I hate to say that she is, but when I went to go look for information on her, of course, they ain't let nobody find it. So you know how that go. But like I said, I'm going to give y'all this last one just on it, just to get it from an eye kind of little point of view. And then we're going to go ahead and split after this. We're going to go and let it go, man. You know what I'm talking about? We're going to go and let it go.
Let me expand real quick on what you just brought up, because that's kind of dope, fool.
What?
The 2 U.S. constitutions.
While you're looking it up?
Yeah, I just looked it up. Look,
What'd you find?
2 constitutions in the United States. The first, the real Constitution, was suspended in favor of a Vatican corporation in 1871.
Fuck out of here, bro. You just found that right
Yeah.
now?
That's what it says.
Larry Gators be knowing, bro.
Yeah.
They like, who is this Larry Gators they keep referencing? Well, shit, his shit checks out.
This is from the Pope's meeting with the board of directors of the Vatican Bank. Since 1871, the United States President and the U.S. Congress has been playing politics under a different set of rules and policies. The American people do not know that there are 2 constitutions in the United States. The first penned by the leaders of the newly independent states of the U.S. in 1776. On July 4, 1776, the people claimed their independence from Britain and democracy was born. And for 95 years, the United States people were free and independent. That freedom ended in 1871 when the original Constitution for the United States for America was changed to the Constitution of the United States of America.
That's when we turned into a corporation, bro.
Yep. The Congress realized that the country was in dire financial straits, so they made a financial deal with the devil, international bankers, the Rothschilds, thereby incurring a debt to said bankers. The conniving international bankers were not about to lend the floundering nation any money without some serious stipulations, so they devised a way taking back control of the U.S., and thus the Act of 1871 was passed. With no constitutional authority to do so, Congress created a separate form of government for the District of Columbia. That's why they moved the capital to D.C.
Thank you, brother.
Wow, bro.
Good shit.
Right? With the passage of the Act of 1871, a city-state, the District of Columbia, was formed with its own flag and its own independent constitution, the United States secret second constitution. The flag of Washington, D.C.'s has 3 red stars, each symbolizing a city-state within the 3-city empire. The 3-city empire consists of D.C., London, and Vatican.
What?
I knew about that part.
London is the corporate center of the 3 city-states and controls the world economically. Washington, D.C. is in charge of the military, like you said, and the Vatican controls it under the guise of spiritual guidance. Although geographically separate, the city-states of London, the Vatican, and the District of Columbia are one interlocking empire called Empire of the City.
That's the
What?
Trinity right there.
The Constitution for the District of Columbia operates under tyrannical Vatican law known as Lex Fori, which translates to local law. When Congress passed the Act of 1871, it created a separate corporation known as the United States and corporate government for the District of Columbia. This treasonous act has unlawfully allowed the District of Columbia to operate as a corporation outside the original Constitution of the United States and in total disregard of the best interests of the American citizens.
Wow.
Kush and Chemtrails, the world's most dangerous podcast.
Let me expand real quick on
Yeah,
what you
let
just
'em
brought
cook,
up, because that's
man.
kind of dope. The 2 U.S. Constitution.
Y'all know what it is, man. Like I say, we don't do no cuts, man. Be up out of here, man. I'm glad that y'all came around. You know what I'm talking about? I'm glad that we can get a little piece of this truth out here. You know what I'm talking about? It is what it is, man. I done had y'all around long enough. Down there to hit me an hour. You know what I'm talking about with it? Down there to hit an hour. So, you know, I would have let a little song go. But y'all know what it is, man. It's Truth for One Entertainment, man. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what it is, man. Hit the Truth for One Entertainment at gmail.com. You know what I'm talking about? DM me. Let me know what other topics around this truth that you want to talk about. Things that's you know what I'm talking about? That they don't want to talk about. This truth talks, man. We talk about the truth. We're going to spill it. We're going to give it to them. I go dig it up. You know what I'm talking about? Give me the subject and I'm going to go dig it up. You know what I mean? So this here, look, man, this for y'all purposes. This for our purposes. This for the truth, man. I appreciate it, man. Foes up. Look, foes up. Y'all out. We be out of this deal, man. Appreciate it, man.